All right. Good morning. Welcome to the channel. Today, I'm going to be talking about how to get low income housing, but mostly the video will be about our holiday updates for this channel and a lot of things that y'all should expect from 2022 for housing authorities, low income housing, and so on. So, I'm going to do a few introductions. And again, this is going to be a live video. You can chat with me in the live chat window for while the video is happening. And just so if you'll see the video at a later time, this video is going to be recorded on 12/8 around 11 o'clock in the morning, Central Standard Time, Texas. A few introductions. My name is Jay from Section8Consulting.com. I work with clients, thousands of clients all over the country. I've been doing so for about 20 years. You can check us out at www.section8consulting.com. We have a stellar reputation. We rank number one on YouTube. We rank number one on Google. I work in a variety of different fields, everything from being a federal witness to working with tenants and landlords. And I have some good news about landlords. We signed a new one. I'll be talking to you guys about that a little bit. So this will be a lot of different things. So it's not for everybody. If you're new, welcome to the channel. And also, I want to tell all of y'all Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays, depending on what you believe in. It is the season for giving, to give, to care, and to remember the true purpose of the holiday is family, friends, and to help those that need it. Okay, it's not always about Santa Claus and religion. It's just we just need to be more caring as a community and as a planet. So I'm going to do answer a few comments here. I see you guys are chiming in. Mr. Good morning. Dark Sybil. Good morning. How are you? Happy holidays, guys. Jasmine, Victoria, welcome. These are some of my regulars to the channel. All right, guys. So the first thing I'm going to cover is, as I mentioned, happy holidays. And these are strenuous times. As many of you know, when holidays hit, a lot of what HUD is, housing authorities, and low income housing is strongly contingent on whether or not people are working and if it's a holiday. And so, it's been a rat race lately because I can't get housing authorities to answer the phone, to answer anything. These are often county employees, and they're on vacation, and so we deal a lot with answering machines. So one of the reminders with all the cases I currently have open for clients, and just in case if you're new, I handle casework for people. HUD and housing authorities and getting vouchers is a sophisticated process, especially when it's designed to be so unforgiving. There's a lot to learn. Over 20 years, I've read over probably 1,000,000 pages of data, operations, procedure manuals, dealt with hundreds of counties in all 50 states. This is not something where you go in, you Google it on, Google, and you come at some definitive answer. A lot of what Google is, and it gives great answers about many things, but Section 8, most of it is just outdated, it's irrelevant, and it's misleading. A lot of you guys are under the impression that you're well researched, when in fact, really you're not. You know very little. Most of you have never read the thousands of pages just for Title 24. None of you have read the federal code, federal regulation, and you certainly have not read 20 or 30,000 pages of operations, policies, procedures, for the mainstream vouchers. And so there's a lot to be considered. In addition to that, talk a lot about there being so many different funding levels, around 138 different types of vouchers and funding out there. There's not just one voucher, folks. It doesn't just run at the federal level, the state level, and the county level. I mean, they issue vouchers for a number of reasons, including special use. And so all things to consider, there's a lot. So in addition to that, we're going to be talking about Chicago and the landlord that I just signed. We're going to be talking about housing authority closing for the holiday season. New federal funding for 2022, which you guys should be excited because we have been at an impasse, not being able to get much done. Moving, packing. Now, all of you know, I'm fixing to take what you see here, this home, okay? And I'm going to be heading to the Ozarks in Arkansas. And I bought a forest, a literal forest. Most of you have seen the pictures on the community page. If you don't know where that's located, when you click on my photo in YouTube, Then when you click on it, it's going to bring you to the main page. On that main page, you'll see a bar with different things you can click on, links. One of them is the community pages. You'll see hundreds of posts. Some of the more recent ones will show you the forest. So we're building a home, quite literally, there, and there's a lot to be discussed at a little bit later point in the video. Moving on from that, we also touch base about the Omicron. Okay, so we're not going to make it a big deal, but I want to tell you how it's affecting HUD and housing. I think we need to, have a serious conversation about that as well. All right, so it looks like we got about 8 or 9 viewers. It's a little bit low, but hey, the holidays are like that. People rather spend their money shopping than listen to me talk about Section 8 vouchers. I get that. I'm okay with that. First up. All right, guys, for those of you that live in and around the Chicago area or Illinois, I signed a landlord. He has 88 properties. We're slowly rolling those out. Now, these are not little crack houses, okay? These are actual homes with yards. So in principle, for those of you who live in the state of Illinois or in and around the Chicago area, this is an opportunity for you to be able to have a home with several bedrooms, possibly, and a yard, okay, in most cases. And so I'm going to be talking about what those are as we roll them out. So the signing was done yesterday. We're in negotiations, and next I'll be talking with the housing authority. God knows if I can get them on the phone about incentives and other things. Once we square that away and I talk with the maintenance company, y'all will have first option of those homes, provided you're not, convicted of serious crimes and you haven't wrecked yourself with multiple evictions. I would likely be the person approving your application. Okay. Now, moving on from that, I'm going to leave it at that. Okay. So we'll make a video about that specific and some of the properties. Y'all get a good consensus of that. And then we'll talk about whether or not you'd be a good candidate for that. We all know there's not much housing out there, but when I get landlords, and I have 200 of them, I always give YouTube an opportunity. Okay. I'm more reasonable than any landlord would ever be, especially considering I'm the one approving these applications. So that means that I'm a lot more lenient than your typical landlord would be. Okay. You understand, I would not be your manager. I just handle the concession side of this, which means that I determine whether or not a person belongs in that property. Moving on. Housing authority closings. Okay, guys, so I've got a lot of cases with y'all right now, okay? In fact, the last 2 days have been hell on wheels. I've been working upwards of 15 hours, yesterday 18. Let's recap here, guys, especially those of you that have purchased casework from me, where I'm working for a week, 2 weeks, or even a month on your case. If the housing authority is closed, if they do not answer the phones for you, they're not going to answer them for me, okay? So let's try to manage the expectations, because y'all are hammering the shit out of me about this. Look, nothing can be done if the housing authority does not have employees to process paperwork and vouchers and other things. It is not that far a cry that we're between Thanksgiving just happening and Christmas Day. All this flurry of emails is completely unnecessary. All right. I'm as good as I was the first 20 years ago as I am today. I'm just as effective. And in fact, the reality is the services I provide today are at the same price they were before the pandemic, but yet I'm doing 5 times the work. So, guys, if you don't want me to charge you $1,500, okay, for the work, then take it easy on me, okay? Look, there are only, as I've mentioned many times, there are only a handful of me left. Most people have exited wanting to be a consultant because of all the bullshit. When you convolute, have unrealistic expectations, and make people's life a living hell over your casework, what will happen is when I exit, that is it. That will be the end of it. And then it will truly be the only assistance you'll ever get are outdated articles on Google or calling 211 for the infamous persons there that don't know jack shit. Okay. So trust me on this deal. Do not drive me out of the market. This Christmas, y'all are testing me, but I'm not taking it personal. It happens every year, but you got to slow your roll. Okay, guys, we're only a couple of weeks for Christmas. Look, people go on holidays. There's nothing I can do about it. If there's only one employee left to open the door at the housing authority and process paperwork, you already know how that's going to go. So now that I've given y'all that little lecture, and I wanted to do it because it makes me feel better, okay? Because y'all driving me wild. New federal funding, 2022. Look, let's think about this logically. And I already know the answer to this, but I want to pose this question to you. Everybody in this world wants to do things during the summer. It's warm, it's cute, it's what the herd of people like cattle do. They all want to move. Everybody needs a voucher during the summer. Let me pose a different concept to you. Do you know when there's the most money out there and the least amount of activity is January through March? Housing authorities and vouchers, they're floating in cash and vouchers. It's a new federal funding and it's the best time. Nobody wants to move into, nobody wants to apply to get a voucher, to move or do anything during January and February. Look, if you start casework now in December, while nothing's happening, you're ready for January 1st with new federal funding, okay? Look, you're not competing with the big concert crowds of people that want my services during the summer holidays, during the summer. That's when it's most intense. And what you're doing is you're just making it worse on yourself during the summer. Look, if you know they've got plenty of money and virtually nobody's really trying to address their housing needs during January and February, newsflash, this should be the time you should be reacting. Why will we need to pull us to extremes during the summer when you know that everybody's already sucked up every federal dollar at that point? Also, guys, you should be aware with federal funding. Look, every corporation and business out there is cooking the books in December, because they're trying to get rid of the extra funding for taxes. You understand what that's going on? So that means that a lot of what we can potentially get does actually stall. Oh, we got our co-host over there. So let's introduce you to old girl. This is my Siamese mama. She's a tough cat. So it looks like she quit her job already. She was going to help host the video, but look, another thing I want to tell you guys, if you don't know this, I have over 20 cats, and they are a big part of this channel. Okay, I talk about them a lot. Y'all have met many of them. And so I wanted to do that introduction. Many of y'all have seen her. She's got crystal blue eyes. Anyways, moving on from that, I have great expectations for January, February, March for most of my cases, and those of you that will be utilizing my services, if you should need so, do so. Like all good things in this world, due diligence is required. I always tell people, research my reputation, my reviews, everything that is out there that can be reviewed. I already know the answer to these things, You don't survive 7 years on YouTube and 20 in my line of work unless you're exceptional at what you do. Okay, there's nothing too hard. Either I get it done or I don't. My success rates revolve around a 93%. I tell people that you have a 7% chance of absolutely just blowing your money and getting not jack out of it. Okay. The other odds are what they are. They're 93% that we usually get through it, given the amount of time that it's invested. All right. That's better odds you're ever going to get than when you go down to the gas station to get a cold beer and a scratch off. Okay. So decide how you want to gamble your money, because I don't really consider what I do a gamble. I wouldn't be into this if I didn't know. Okay. And I certainly wouldn't have a portfolio of landlords, over 200 at a value of around $100 million in properties that I consult on, if I was a complete idiot. Do you think these people that are spending millions are going to hire a fool? They don't. All right. Beyond that, we'll take a few more comments here. You guys are slow today commenting. Go-To says, it's beautiful, so I'm happy for you. Thank you. I think you're referring to the move of our operation. Cabell and Whirl, hi, do you have any connections to find rentals in Arizona? Arizona vouchers not converting, high rent spike. Do you have a video on Arizona, please? I'm considering that. So Arizona actually got inundated by Illinois. 20% of all applications, they overwhelmed the system out there in Arizona. They also did so in New Mexico. Arizona has presented a tremendous amount of problems recently, just like California. And I'm thinking that my first round of state videos at the county level will be for Arizona and California, because the problems are the worst in those two states as of right now. Now, so I did put part of the title is how to get low income housing. So why don't we just talk about that? With anything being said out here is, we all deal with pandemics, an overheated housing market. Landlords haven't been paid, so now they're raising all their rents. The vouchers aren't covering what you needed to cover. And then, of course, most of you come to the reality that once you have the voucher, a lot of properties are wanting 3 times the rent. Well, how the hell does that supposed to work? Look, guys, if you're going to apply for housing, utilize a voucher, and you go use it at a silly apartment complex, they're telling you right now they're going to want 3 to 3.5 times the rent. You're going to have to create medical costs and other issues, which are called negative assets, to downplay that big number. And in some cases, state law may block them from doing that, but the landlord will still lie about that and say, hey, well, you got a $950 Social Security check, and this rent is $3,000. And we don't care if you've got a voucher. We still want 3 times the rent. So you see how that's lunacy, how that goes on. So there are some protections at the state and federal level for that. Excerpts we certainly could use on casework to assist you with that. But I want to be very clear about something, guys. A lot of you guys are calling me like I'm a real estate agent and a broker. I do not. There's no magic in housing search. Let's just be real. You click a link. It's an address to a property, photos of an inside of an apartment. That's not helping you do anything other than get in there, okay? I don't handle that. I mean, could you imagine the cost for me to sit on the phone with you, for you, okay, and call 400 properties a week? Could you imagine the amount of time I'd spend waste on one client for that silliness? Housing search is now, and it always will be, the responsibility of the client or those of you out there. I certainly have tools to help you better look for places, but I don't do that. It's not that you're looking for a real estate agent or a broker that has time to waste their life doing that. I'm not doing it. Okay. The complicated part of all this is getting vouchers, getting into low income housing. That's what I deal with, not riding around town burning gas to look at a silly apartment. That's y'all's responsibility. Be glad that it's a pandemic, because a lot of these places will talk to you simply by phone and you don't have to drive around town. So to be clear, I do not offer real estate housing search. I do not have an MLS system. I use affordable housing online in the Facebook marketplace, which has been quite successful. Hell, I had one landlord, I was able to fill his building within 30 days. I had 100 responses a day. There's certainly no shortage of people that have a voucher to use. So, how about getting low income housing? So, we need to start with federally subsidized properties, which are lich properties, okay? And one of the more clever ways, techniques that I deploy is going to the city planning and development. And then I ask them, hey, look, I would like to know every single building that you're approving for lich program. If you could tell me the 60 or 70 buildings that are close to being finished, that are under permit, that are HUD properties. It's simple, right? You simply ask them that. That would allow you to know the minute that they are approved for that property open, even before that building publishes, like they're required by federal law, in a newspaper, hey, we have a new Section 8 house. So why don't you guys go down to city planning, or whatever it's called in your city, and determine whether or not there's another 15 different HUD-approved properties being built and are about to go live. They're approved for occupancy. And then just beat everybody to it. That's, you guys are not thinking about this stuff. What you're doing is you're roaming down the halls of the same place that every other idiot goes to, these websites. Oh, well, I'm looking on such and such. Well, you know what? So are 15,000 other people that can't use their voucher. Go down to city planning, find out what's fixing to be built or what's a week away from being open, and do it that way. Yeah, it's a pain in the ass for them. Yep, they may not be pleasant when you talk to them, but at least you can get at least 4 or 5 properties. Do you know, hey, they're approved to open in late January or late December, and that allows you to be number one at the door. Okay? You guys got to put more effort into this. That's strictly what it comes down to. So I'm going to take on a few comments here real quick. Cowboy World, how do you have any connection to finding rentals in Arizona, blah, blah, blah. All right, so I already answered that question, Jasmine Victoria. What is the difference between 2-week and 4-week casework? I figure out which one I need. Okay, so let's talk about casework real quick, guys, for what I offer on my website. I'll just give you a link so y'all can look at it, okay? So this will bring you straight there. And copy, and I'm pasting it in the live chat. Okay, so for those of you that have a simplified case, that have done most of your research, you're one of these people that used to be a former lawyer and a doctor, or you have an exceptional IQ and you've been working on your own case and you're almost near it, but you can't figure out certain aspects, I would recommend just a week of casework where I'm filling in the blanks for you, but you're very capable of being able to get through the process. Okay. For those of you that have moderate cases, which means you've done a moderate amount of work, um, but there's still a lot you don't know, then I would recommend 2 weeks of casework. To be frank with you, my involvement in casework really is a minimum of 2 weeks. I mean, nothing in the arena of housing, Section 8, HUD, or any of it would take any less than 2 weeks. Okay. If you're serious about getting something done and you actually want to be able to utilize, get a voucher, and deal with other complex issues, which is most of you, I would just recommend 4 weeks. Okay. Why dabble with this? 2 weeks, 2 weeks of casework is really designed for people that are already highly capable, but most of you are not in that area. If you've been reading on this for a couple of years, you have a true understanding of Title 24 federal regulation. You may have already read through some HIP manuals and other things, and you truly understand the intensity of what's going on. And you know how to do more than just sign your name to a silly application. You understand preferences, preferentials, special use, and all these other things you could exploit to get what you need. Then, yeah, by all means, book 2 weeks. Okay. But it all comes down to money and time. So, charging about $300 for 2 weeks of work. Look, I really should be charging thousands, but I don't do that. You know why I don't do that? Because nobody would ever be able to afford it. Everybody here that comes to the channel will have money to burn. That's why I always tell you, make sure you're making an informed decision. I'm not here to sell you anything. I don't sell anything. You know, I put out my reputation, and people are interested in utilizing what I offer to better a system. Then I'm fine with that. That's the thing I want to communicate. If there's lots of people running scams on Google, so I'm about to cut this phone off. Looks like we've already got calls coming in. So that's the thing. Do your homework, and then that's the best I can tell you. Most of the stuff that we're offering is a description. So I am actually helping you based on my 20 years of experience. Okay. Moving on. I'm going to take on a few more questions, and looks like they're getting pretty big. Andrew Wilkie, thank you for all you do. Nobody would want to do what you do. You're a saint, and most are cats and animal lovers, and I miss them. I appreciate that. Thank you. I also want to thank Andrew for being the first person to thank me. I don't think you guys realize no matter what y'all pay, it's a fraction of the time that I put in these cases. Let me give you an example. One lady gave me, I think it was 50 bucks in an organ case. That was it. It's what she could afford. I ended up spending 16 hours in that case. When I was able to absolve it, do you think she told me thank you? No. I never heard from her again. That's a lot of the shit that I put up with. You see why nobody really wants to do the job I do? Because it's very much a thankless job. A lot of people only want what they want. They don't care how much time you spend. They don't care when they call you. They don't care that they've sent you 48 emails in one day and stuff like that. I put up with a lot of it. And then you add up the totality of the fact that a lot of my clients do suffer from severe mental issues. And I'm fine with that. I'm one of the few people that will work with people that may be schizophrenic and other things, because nobody else will help people with a lot of disabilities. And I do. Even when I know the client is actually harassing me. I've got people that hire me and they harass me. The plethora of craziness that goes on behind some of these phone calls is absolutely absurd. But I do it because there's no other hope for a lot of you guys. And nobody else will put up with it, So but I also want to say I have a lot of good clients too. And I have lots of people that are bipolar, schizophrenic, and other serious issues on spectrum. I deal with clients with a wide range of disabilities where they're rejected flat out by other people. I quite enjoy the challenge, and I don't take things too personal. Okay. So go on. Maureen Jenkins. Hello. Is any of the program on Section 8, or formerly known as Section 8, are they allowed to make you pay? So I'm gonna have to read that one in myself. Okay, so you're talking about moving costs. So if you're currently a voucher holder, you're in a property in California, and they decide not to renew your lease or evict you, Your cost to move has always been you. I'm not quite sure, Maria. You might want to email that question to me. The context is kind of eluding me right now. I'm not quite sure that I'm understanding exactly what you're asking. Crystal Addy, girl, it has been a minute since I've seen you here in the channel. Happy holidays and welcome back. Thank you for all your help and support, encouragement. Also, hope your move is going well. You know, we're going to be talking about that move, guys. I know y'all are interested in hearing about it. It's definitely more interesting than talking about vouchers today. Maya, we'll call you Maya B. Interesting name. So we have the first interesting name of the day. Welcome to the channel. And by the way, I love interesting YouTube names. I had a consult with Jay today. He was terrific. Excellent. So I wish you would tell me your real name, your real first name. That way I'll know who you are. You're most welcome, Maya. Marie Jenkins. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. So the thank yous are rolling out. I always appreciate. You know what? That's a good Christmas gift. You don't even have to wrap it. Just, but you know, your parents raise you. Just say thank you. That's all you guys got to do, man. I'm easy to please. My cats tell me thank you all the time when they're purring. I can hear them purring. They thank me, you know, and so I appreciate that. I was raised that way to thank people, not just get what you need and then drive off. I never could. I couldn't own a McDonald's because I don't think the people that order or the people filling the orders are that pleasant. All right, so knowledge. Well, we have two interesting names today, so I like that. That's an excellent name to have for YouTube. It's knowledge. Are you able to determine more or less how much case time? Yeah, absolutely. A big part of what I do is knowing that. Knowledge. Now that's the person commenting the channel. You know, we had met 20 years ago that it might have been different, but these days I do based on initial consult. Once I'm able to review your casework, I can tell you about whether or not how long it would take, and I can also tell you whether or not I would accept or reject. And let me be very clear, guys. I reject cases all the time. Okay. Sometimes clients just sometimes their cases are just simply too complex and should deserve the attention of an attorney. Sometimes cases are completely fanatical, which means the person is suffering from problems and doesn't realize they're not in touch with reality. And then sometimes I get people that call, you can tell that it's going to be an absolute pain in the ass to work with that person, and their personality is just too atrocious for me. And so I will reject those cases. I also have people that managed to get through the part of booking with me, but then turn into a nightmare. And then I just give them their money back and I ban them for life because I don't have time to deal with delusional people. Let me give you a good example. A person that hires me to do a job and then every day they harass me by email and say, you know, I paid you to do a job and I expect my voucher in the mail by Monday. Here's your money back. I would like for you to go get a psychiatric evaluation. Okay. And then they have free rubber mats at the homeless shelter for people like you. I don't put up with the bullshit, period. I expect people to be reasonable and act grown up. That way we can actually work on cases. If you act like a lunatic, I will refer your case to 211. They will graciously give you 30 seconds of their time. Then they will giggle and hang up on you, possibly give you a voucher for a rubber mat and a free roll of socks. I will not. I'm telling you, don't burn your bridge with me. There are not a lot of me left out here. All right, guys. So let's talk about the move. So, as you know, I'm moving up into the Ozarks, and you know, I'm learning a lot about Ozarks. First of all, across the several different states, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and so on. I bought land that's a forest, and I posted pictures about that. One of the things y'all know about me is before I ever became a consultant, I struggled like most Americans with housing and was actually even homeless for next to a decade. Okay. Prior to all this, it was through that adversity that I became well read in other things, but studied, went to college not once, but twice. Okay. And so, you know, I'm not just giving out what I do is not tips and tricks. I didn't arrive at what I do yesterday. You see what I'm saying? So, look, I walked a mile in everybody's shoes. I know exactly what's going on around the nation. Okay. Um, so, back to Arkansas and the Ozarks. One thing I'm going to say about that is I bought that because I wanted to get away from the big city. I also need the enrichment. Okay. I'm tired of the neighbors and all that. You know, I like the forest. I'm building the house with my own hands, with the assistance of professionals, obviously, but I'm not We're going piece by piece, and y'all will see that. And so that land doesn't have power, water, electric, sanitary, none of that stuff. So all of it y'all will see play out piece by piece. What's good about this for this channel is a lot of you, I'm actually going out and I'm fishing for you. Okay. Now I'm going to teach you guys how to fish, and I'm going to show you from beginning to end so most of you can see what it would actually take to buy some property, to develop it, and it show you over a period of time that it does not require $100,000. Okay. It does not require that. And so showing you how to fish for yourself, and I would like to see some of you exit this market. You don't need to live in the broom closet in the Bronx. You don't need to live in around gunshots and gang members in South LA. You don't need to struggle with people that are moonshining in the mountains of Virginia. Okay, guys? There are other options out there. And I think the best quality of this is to show you. I'm not buying a piece of property in the middle of the neighborhood where I can go connect the water and the gas. All of this will require me and my herd of cats, okay? The cat ranch, moving to the forest, will require me to live in an RV. I mean, I have to buy that. Most of you know I buy everything straight out. I don't lease, finance, nothing. I own my vehicles outright. I own my home outright. I own everything that way. When we get out there, we will be utilized. If I got to have them drill my, if I never have to pay a bill to the water company again, I'll pay the 10 grand to drill the well. That will be the last water bill I will ever pay. And just as soon as I can get the solar panels up, I will power the entire house and property without zero connection electric company. In other words, for this eternity of lifetime, I will never give a single nickel to a power company again. The only people I will pay, I can't afford a satellite. I will pay for internet, so that is what it is. But I will show you how to bring your cost to damn near zero. Trash, I got to comply with the city on that. But you see my point. A lot of these things that eat up your life, I'm going to get rid of. And you'll watch me methodically do that. You'll also watch me build a house, like I said, by hand. I have to have an electrician connect that wiring in the box, but the rest of that, I'll make it my job. Same thing with plumbing and everything else. I'll have to hire an AC man because I don't really want to toy with that. So some things I can't cheat, okay? So we're moving it out there, and we're moving it into a literal forest, and we're going to build it together. Part of that property will be as a designation to deer, squirrels, birds. Y'all know I love animal life and so on. And I'm going to keep the trees intact. I do not want to just clear. I'm not Walmart. I don't want to level the lot so I can have a lawn to mow. There's no lawn to mow. It will remain a forest. I may designate some of the area around the home to prevent big trees from falling on the house, but I will live in a literal forest. I'm not interested in a fucking lawn. Just to be clear, I do not want the lawn to be responsible for. So I hope my neighbors that live, when they decide to develop around me, well, they will be developing whatever they do around my forest. This is unrestricted land. I answer to nobody. And I mean nobody. Other than if they try to change the zoning laws, then I'll lawyer up. I don't see that happening in this lifetime. So you see my point. I've lived half my life on earth. Now the next half, I'm going to live it my way. It's simple as that. The sheriff can drop by, and the tax assessor, my taxes out there are $7.17. And I'll be cutting a $1,000 check. That way, the next time they need money from me will be 100 years from now. There will be no chance of ever taking. And the next thing I'll do is probably put the property under a trust. So no man, court can ever take it from me. I'll put it in an irrevocable trust for an eternity. So I can never be sued. It can never be taken from me. You see what I'm doing, right, guys? I'm making the world, I'm making my own damn rules. I'm tired of playing the game. Now, meanwhile, when you get outside the forest, we can do the Democratic, Republican game. I can give a shit about any of that. As long as me, my forest, and my cats, we are on our own grid. Am I crazy or lunatic? Absolutely not. What I'm doing is I'm showing you how to drop your cost to damn near zero. And no, I'm not going to raise cattle and all that stuff out there, chickens and all that. I'm still going to go to the grocery store and live a normal life. I'm just saying I'm looking to internalize all those costs that are not necessary. One-time investment for a lifetime. I hope those solar panels last a long time. Wouldn't that be great to buy those and then 10 years later you find out they're no longer working that great? So, all right, guys, I'm going to look at these comments right here. I'm sure y'all think I'm all a little bit crazy, but that's all right. It's only crazy till you see it happen. And then it's like, okay, well, that's real. See my point? Shelby Silverstein, message of the day. Never put up with anybody's bullshit. Yes, you're correct. I don't do that. I had one guy, that goes back to the earlier comments I made about clients making demands. I'm not Amazon. Don't ever treat me like I do packages, 2-hour packages. You got me messed up. I'm not McDonald's either. You're not going to drive through, and I'm not Burger King. You don't drive and get through your way. Like, I've been doing this too long. I'm willing to deal with grown adults when it comes to consulting work, but if you act like a child, you think you're running me, I'll just get rid of you. And then, like I said, when you land on the sidewalk with one flip flop and you got nothing, it's because you couldn't control your mouth. That's the thing about this. I deal with all types of people that are educated, people from the street, people from the hood, people from the trailer park. Everybody's got a different idea of how they like their casework done. Thing is, you're not going to treat me like trash. I won't. We're not going to play that game. Especially somebody that grew up in South Louisiana. I literally grew up in a trailer park, so I know I can get down with anybody. That's the thing. I don't just service rich white folks. Okay, I deal with everybody, whether you're black or you're Mexican. I can get down with anybody. Let's just be clear about that. I don't just service one color and one attitude. I like to be able, the thing is, I want to help anybody that's disabled, that have disabled children, that are veterans. I respect and honor our veterans for serving our country. For those of you that are elderly, those of you mothers struggling out there, I serve everybody. Okay. All right, moving on. Gently moving. Damn, you're off the grid. Yes, that is the plan. But the thing about it is, 6 mile drive into town. I'm back in town. I'm still at the Walmart. I'm still at the McDonald's and all that. It's not that. The thing is, the property's off grid. But I mean, once I drive out the forest, I'm back into the world. I need enrichment like everybody else. I don't plan on being a hermit in the woods, my own magical fairy forest. But it. Just to be clear, I'm not going to go out there, and go crazy. So you know how that goes. Go to says living the dream. Yeah, it is a dream. It's a dream not to pay everybody my money. It's a dream to own a home that I own. It's a dream to never pay an electric bill again. It's a dream to never pay the water company again, and be unrestricted and not have somebody come out there from an HOA and tell me that my grass isn't short enough, because I sure tell them where to stick it at that point. And so the easiest way to solve that is the forest will never have a lawn. I don't need to go and spend $9,000 putting grass down. The trees and the forest will do what it needs to do. Even if they develop all around me, nobody's going to tell me that I have a lawn. It's a forest. You see, I'm very smart. When I think about this stuff and I carry it out, there's a reason. It's planned. Laura S., she's laughing with me. Hello and good morning. Yes, we're talking lots of good stuff today. Barbara C. would love to see that. And so I want to tell you guys, this will be on video. I'm recording every process of that. From the minute we land out there, me and the cat ranch go to Arkansas. Again, this is not a fairy tale. Y'all will watch me do all of this stuff. You're going to get to see the property, the land, the cats. These cats ain't going to know what to do. They're used to hearing the sirens and crap and all that Houston living. It's going to be nothing but crickets, birds, and deer out there, except for when we go in town. And I'm buying 2 Rottweilers, okay? 2. I want to mention that about that. I'm buying 2 Rotts that come from a big one. And so I'm expecting both of them to be around 150 pounds. That's going to give me a defense. That will be my security alarm for the property. It will also help protect the cats, make sure nothing happens to them. And we do have black bears. That's inevitable. The black bears are real out there. I have found that out. And so those Rotts are big enough to handle business. And especially when I get them grown, that'll be 300 pounds of beast. And I don't raise my dogs to be vicious. I'm just raising to defend my property and defend my cats and make sure we don't get mauled by a damn bear. I don't prefer having guns and all that out there. I don't like, I hunt. I used to hunt. but I'm not interested in packing weapons. I think just dogs would do the job. Besides, these days, if you shoot somebody, you could end up in prison, right? You never know. Now, when these dogs go out there and rip your head off because you tried to steal my car in my forest, well, I don't know what happened. They'll have to charge a dog with a felony, I guess. So there's always thought into this stuff. So, anyways, gaming with Saul. Hey, man, welcome back. Jay did 2 sessions of consulting. Both time the waiting list was closed. So unable to apply for anything. I am trying to reach you on email. Please, what now? Gaming with Saul, trying to reach me an email. So let's check the email right now. I don't have any emails by Gaming with Saul. No person's name Gaming with Saul in email. Okay, so I don't know who you are. You know, you could be Purple Fairy Dust in YouTube. I have no idea who the hell you are. That's the thing about this, guys. When you email me and you want to know something through a YouTube channel, I need to know who you really are. That's the thing. Okay, so my suggestion is to be contact me there. Next up, Jasmine Victoria. So Jazzy says that's her dream about the property. I want to have home in peace. Excellent. Shelby Silverstein. Ken Corsos are amazing big dogs. I also looked at the wolf dogs. What do you call those wolf dogs? Akitas or something like that, but I have concerns of whether or not they could turn on me. Again, I don't abuse animals. I save animals from abuse, but I do have concerns about dogs that could turn on me. I've owned big Rottweilers before, and I think they're a great alarm system in defense. And again, they're there to protect my cats and other things. I'm intending on raising them around the cats. That way, there's an acquaintance. I don't want to get just big Rots now. I'm just going to get them as puppies and then make sure they're part of the house. Roland Bays, love the name Barry Blue Dust. Well, that's the thing, guys. Sometimes y'all reach out to me. I cannot connect who you are from your YouTube name to an actual email. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing, guys. People a lot of things in YouTube. You have some weird names. So, Cat Lover, hey, welcome back. So I love that name. Hi, Jay. Just stopping by to say hi. I was looking forward to watching you move to the Ozarks. For some reason, guys, I get the suspicion our channel is going to grow a lot when I do the Ozark thing because so many people seem to be very interested in the move and seeing that play out. I think it's more that I want to see me out there build that house piece by piece. So, the first things you guys are going to see is me lay not a concrete foundation. I'm doing a pier and beam system. And so you'll see it board by board go up. It's wild, right? Now, as I had mentioned, certain parts I'll have to consult with general contractors, but quite literally every flipping process. And I'm going to be honest, moving out there also is really busy work for me. I've always wanted to do this since as a kid. You know what I'm saying? So I think that a lot of this is that midlife crisis of having that one big project in your life. It'll be sad when I'm done because it means that one thing that's going to keep me busy for a couple of years is going to be gone. And then I guess I'm going to have to go back to the more arbitrary projects. But who knows? Maybe I buy some more forest and build some more cottages. So Gochu says, show the Homestead Rescue has taught me a lot. The show Homestead Rescue has taught me a lot. The Rainey family or Homestead MacGyvers. And I'm hoping to reach that point because I'm definitely no expert. So y'all will see me make a lot of mistakes. Surely a lot of mistakes. And it'll be an adventure. It will be an interesting adventure to live in my own forest out there. And I expect a lot of things to happen. I'm curious about how this is going to happen when we're during winter. I'm a southerner. We don't see snow. So I don't know how that's going to work for me and the kitty cats when we got a couple of inches of snow. Of course, it's just snow, right? It's just ice on the ground. We're preparing. And one of the more curious things I'm going to do, I'm going to build the fireplace. I'm going to get a contractor out there to work with me, okay? Because when you're stacking stones all the way up to make that fireplace, you need an expert out there. But I want to participate so I learn and see how it's done and do half the work at minimal, But we're going to build a real stone fireplace. Yeah, not some shit you buy off fucking Home Depot website. Excuse my language. I would like to keep everything as real as possible. And no, everything else will be store bought, obviously. But I'm just saying that. Yeah, so we're doing plenty. Moving back down. So go back to some of the comments from earlier. The Omicron, or whatever you want to call it, the Omicron is here. It's highly infectious. It doesn't do much. It's a little more than a common cold. So I think we were hardwired to this reality that pandemic is the second form of cold that we will likely be surviving for generations. Today, we call it a pandemic. In 5 years, I think we'll just all realize that what's left of this pandemic and this disease will likely be a part of our life. And it primarily just affects older people with complications. Okay. So, we already have the flu, we have the cold, and now we have COVID. Okay. So, in 5 years, it's Christmas part. Oh, Nancy got the COVID, just like you say with the cold. I think that's where this is going. The longer this stuff survives, the more we're treated. I believe that it'll just pan out to be another thing that you'll get the shot at. You go down to the CVS, you get your shot for the COVID for the season, And then for those of you that don't believe in any kind of medical care, you're anti-vax, you're anti-this, then, they have coffins they're selling, for $49.99 at the Home Depot. They have lots of pine coffins for people that don't believe anything is real. There's a mental break in your mind and you're unable to get vaccinated. So I don't know what to say. Everybody makes their own choice. But anyways, back to the Omicron. Look, guys, it's going to play a big factor of what happens in 2022. It's also going to play a factor in housing and budgeting and other things. And so as much as I'd like to say that we were parting ways with the pandemic for 2022, we're not. But what I expect is our country will start to recover. Things will still be slow and tedious, but it'll be a hell of a lot better than what we just went through. And that's when we shut down the entire globe to protect yourself. I think that as we reach that point where most people are been treated for this, that we will be able to move on some semblance of life. But I think kind of like a hot fart in the wind, it's gonna linger for a while, and we're just gonna have to put up with it. So 2022 will be an interesting year. I'm looking forward to working with y'all again on your casework and vouchers and so on, so we can do as much as we can to get you guys housing. Some of the extreme parts of this are starting to let up already. I think we're starting to see the effects of the 40 to 50 million people that got evicted. They're trying to move around and enter the Section 8 housing. So I think that the bigger part of what a crisis is no longer a crisis. So, all right, guys, we're at about 45 minutes. I think we've covered everything to a good point. I've been doing a lot of packing. I know you can't see it from the video, but doing a lot of casework. Looking forward to working with you guys that are out in Illinois or Chicago because of the new landlord. The 88 new properties that will slowly become on the market for you guys to apply. I'll make a video about that. And August 20th, around there, we'll making the transition, which means me, the truck, and y'all start to see some RV options. I'm going to post some of the RVs I'm looking at, and then somewhere along a couple of months, I'll make a decision, buy one of them, and then we will journey off in the sun with the cats, and then move to the forest. And then it's going to be hell on wheels from there. So I'm going to take a look here. A few more comments before I go. They show Homestead. Okay, so I already seen that. Just like polio, we will recover. Yeah, so then Omicron, like anything else, we'll become adjusted as a society and then just move on. I feel at some point in life that we will probably get a deadly virus, but it doesn't appear that it did happen this round. So, in another 50 years, I probably won't be here, but maybe that will be the time when something serious and deadly hits. I think the ratio for this is like 3.4%. So the reality is medical care and our ability to treat problems has gotten better since 100 years ago. So we may never see anything as shitty as this again. What we learned is America is not so badass. We did not respond as quickly as we had thought. All these movies they made about pandemics. We thought the whole nation would pray together and cooperate. What does it turn into? One huge political battle, Half the people wanted to get vaccinated, the other half didn't, and it just created a big problem. China lied about their numbers. Other nations didn't even want to do anything. So the reality is, when the world's faced with a crisis, what do? We divide, fall apart, and then accuse each other of being political. Man, we're fucking doomed as a planet. I already see it. Good God. If we get an asteroid, half of them are going to say it's fake news. The other half are going to try to do something, and we're all going to die together. Sad reality, but it's true. So I think I'll talk to Mr. Musk over there, Elton Musk, and ask if he can help me with a rocket, because I'll just head to Mars. I'm not waiting to find out whether or not the federal government's going to help. To be frank with you, the government pretty much flopped on this deal. All that money and spending, and only 6% of it actually reached the Americans. They sucked all the money straight back, and now they're building bridges with it, despite everybody being half broke and thrown out. All that money didn't do a damn thing. I just watched it. I just watched our government fail flat on its face through 2 different presidencies. And I got to tell you another thing, guys. Like I said, I don't vote and I don't care about politics. I don't want any more old men in that office. We need to get young people that are in tune with today. You know, we're picking people, man, that are in the 70s and 80s and 90s and 100. We need to get young folks in that White House that have the heartbeat of our nation in mind, not a bunch of good old boys, that are pushing 80 and 90 in there. I don't give a damn what side they're on, but we need people that are in touch with reality. So I'm just, I got to tell you, man, it ain't going to matter to me in that force I'm going to live in, but I'm just, man, we're picking people that are elderly to run office, and I don't get that. All right, guys. So, anyways, I expressed my big political motivation. I'd like somebody younger. Let's get a JFK, somebody that's in their 30s or something out there. Like I said, I don't care what political side they're on. Just please stop pulling people from the nursing home to run the country. They're too damn set in their way, and it has to be one way or the other. And I think we could do it better than this. Hell, I'd take anybody. You know what? We could pick maybe a person from India or an Indian or a Mexican person up in there. Give that a try. I'm really just tired of seeing old white men up in there. Try something to diversify a little bit. All right, guys, I've had fun. I hope y'all enjoyed it. We'll talking in a couple of days. Maybe I'll make another video tomorrow. But yeah. All right, guys, have a good weekend and happy holidays.